Today, 3 years after first buying our land, we're starting to plant our orchard, and I couldn't be more excited. As winter comes to an end and we're starting to see the first glimpses of spring, it's the perfect time to get trees in up here in the mountains in Spain. And as my stepdad reminded me a couple of days ago, the best time to get trees in was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So let's get on with it. We'd like to try and add in as much variety as possible this year, so we're getting a mixture of different trees. So firstly we've got a Nispero, which is a loquat. We've also bought an almond. We also picked up a fig tree. We've also gone for the Saturn peach, and we've got some plums as well.
I don't know where you came from, but this road is yours to trade, made to mold into a song that's sung before your day. So you found the beat, the melody, the words.
It smells really fresh, like one of those the little stick incense things.
You were made with love. You were made with love. You were made with love for this world. Silence speaks under our feet. The roots signal across the land.
Just stop digging. There's another one. Giant earthworms. Like, it's literally the size of my finger. It's huge. Find him a different home. Otherwise I'll end up getting snapped in half. Come on, lad.
Oh, these cosmic plans vibrate, sending souls for helping hands. So you sow the seed and let it breathe until it found its roots. You were made with love. You were made with love. You were made with love for this world.
So we've got the two trees in for this side. We've chucked a bucket of water in for it to soak in, and then left the trees in it just to give them a little drink before we start moving them around. And then we've also bought some rooting hormone. For those that watch Richard Perkins, he always says to put some rooting hormone in under his trees. And so we bought some organic rooting hormone, so we can still be certified organic with this stuff. So what we're going to do is like loosen the roots on the base of the tree, rub some of this in with it, and then we've got some like tree substrate that we can mix in with the soil, and then we'll cover it over with a bit of mulch. So what we've seen a lot of people do when planting trees is add an irrigation hole. So this basically allows easy access of water down to the roots of the tree you've just planted. What I do like is there's a YouTube channel called Agua Bosque. It's in Spanish, and what they do is they use small rocks rather than a plastic tube just left in the ground. So we've bought one plastic tube that we're going to put in beside it, plant all around it, fill that up with rocks up to the level that we're happy with, and then hopefully wiggle that tube out, and then we should have an easy filtration hole to pour water into when we want to water the tree.
So that's the 4 trees in up here. We've got the fig, the plum, and then over here is the almond, and on the far side the peach.
And there's the cisterna, so it's going to be super easy to pour water either with the bucket when it's higher or with the pump in the Bluetti, just to get water across here and make sure they've got enough water to stay cold.
The forecast says it's due for rain tomorrow, so hopefully this was a good time to get these trees in. It's getting quite late now, so we need to be leaving, but we'll come back up and do the Nispero as soon as we can, probably in the next day or two, and then start to plan out where we're going to put some of the other trees. So we already know that we would like to get some orange trees. We love the orange blossom and the smell of that. So we'd like to put some of those nearby the house, and yeah, just plan a little bit more which other trees we'd like, or which vines, and where we'd like to put those. During the house move from Barcelona, some of our houseplants got quite damaged. This Monstera cheese plant was looking a little bit worse for wear, so I've cut off the newest growth and I'm going to grow it on as cuttings in the hope to revive it. So I'm just going to put it in some water to begin with, establish some roots, and then hopefully pot it on from there. I've just come up to the land quickly to do a couple of jobs, and I've noticed that there is a processionary caterpillar nest in this pine tree. It's quite close to the house, and it's quite close to like the road that we drive down and just where we park the car. Before letting Paco out, I have inspected this whole area and just made sure that there are no caterpillars around here. There aren't. I can actually see them still inside the nest. They're still very small. They haven't properly hatched yet. So there isn't a kind of risk in the sense that he will come across them on the floor. But I need to think about getting rid of this ASAP before these hatch. We have been checking the trees every time that we've come to the land, just to keep an eye on the pine trees and make sure that there are no caterpillars. We thought that we were safe this year because we hadn't seen any sign of any at all, but they're obviously just coming out a little bit later here than we've seen them in other areas. So yeah, just being super vigilant, trying to keep an eye on all of the pine trees that are close by, and just making sure that there aren't any others that we need to get rid of as well. I've chosen somewhere that is nice and clear and isn't going to catch fire on anything, and I've got a bucket of water ready to extinguish the fire once it's done as well. But since I've moved it, you can see there inside there's just 1 or 2 caterpillars starting to move around, which means I've probably caught this at the right time, because another couple of days and they might be ready to escape and start wreaking havoc. Well, unfortunately, I didn't manage to get done what I hoped I was going to get done because of the caterpillar. I didn't have time to do that. Sorry, caterpillar nest, not just the one caterpillar. I didn't have time to do that because I just came up by myself between feeds. So time is very limited when I don't bring Isabel with me, or when we don't all come up together. It's so frustrating because we really thought that we'd done a good job of getting rid of them last year, meaning that they hopefully wouldn't come back this year. It's such a waste of time, but it's so important to get rid of them because they're so dangerous. The little hairs that are not only on the animals themselves but also in the nests are awful. They create the necrosis, I think it's called, where flesh dies essentially. So if an animal gets the hairs on their paws or onto their tongue or something like that, then it can actually really injure the animals or even kill them. So obviously we want to be really, really careful, and it's not only for animals, it can also harm humans as well. And so to anybody who's living in the campo, walking and has dogs and things like that, please be careful. Please be really, really careful and look out for these processionary caterpillars at this time of year, because they're horrible little things.
So I've just been for a march around the land to see if I could find more nests of the processionary caterpillars. I found maybe 8 or 9 in total. 2 I've had to leave because they were at the top of 10-foot trees and I can't get them. So this time I've gone for the bleach method. I read you could spray them with bleach and they would die. But what the article didn't say was that the bleach dissolves the nest. So luckily I'd done it in a bucket and wasn't spraying it up in the tree, because otherwise all the caterpillars would have dropped out. But luckily they're in there and, I mean, they're dead. They were moving and now they're not moving. For anyone else that's got a problem with them, bleach is a good idea. You don't need to get a fire license or anything like that. And so you can just use bleach and pour it on top, and it was very quick and very easy. And then the chlorine in the bleach should come off in a few days, so I'll just leave it up here out of doggy reach. Then I'll probably just dig a hole and chuck it in. And yes, dig a hole and chuck it in is the 20th century way to do everything, I know. But unless someone else knows a better way to get rid of it, let me know.
While we were up at the land, Danny also repaired this dry stone wall. It had fallen down a couple of years ago and was just steadily getting worse and worse, so it was time to try and fix it. So that's where we're going to leave it for this video. In the next video, we're going to be expanding our orchard and planting more trees on the land, and also completing the first big project in our village house, which is Isabel's nursery. For now, I'll leave you with a little update of the Monstera cheese plant and how those cuttings are getting on. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. It's been 1 week and you can just start to see some roots forming here. And there's 1 or 2 just starting to come here. It's quite hard to see them on camera. But once these are a bit more established, it'll be ready to pot on. But right now, these are a little bit too kind of little and juvenile. They need to grow a little bit bigger and stronger, and then we can plant it.